TFA fam, what is going on? Thank you for joining me for another video. Today I'm going to be talking to you about some flex plays, some sleeper plays you should be considering for your week 13 lineups. Now, obviously, there's no such thing as a sleeper anymore. Everyone knows who everyone is. I'm talking about people who you might not be considering in your lineup, or guys you can go and pick up off the waiver wires that are widely available for you to plug into your lineup. So with that out of the way, let's dive into it. But before we do not forget to hit us with a sub and a like while you are here. Let's go. We have two injuries to be watching out for this week. I'm recording this early on Wednesday afternoon, so we haven't gotten the practice reports yet. But obviously, Miles Sanders and Darrell Henderson, it seems like they should be able to go. But if we get any news that they're going to be limited or worse, even out, look to go and pick up Boston Scott and Sony Michel. On ESPN, both those guys are widely available on Yahoo. They're a little bit more owned, but they're still under 50% rostership. So keep those two in mind. Outside of that, some plays a little bit deeper on down the list. Let's start with Matt Breida for the Buffalo Bills. Now, we've seen him come in and really provide a spark to this backfield. We know what his explosive capabilities are from his time at San Francisco. I think this is still going to be Singletary's backfield, so he's going to be splitting touches. I don't think Breida is going to become the lead back here, but I do think we could see his role expand for the third straight week. You know, Zach Moss was a healthy scratch last week, and if we look at this matchup as well with the Patriots, they're allowing the third fewest passing yards per game on the season and ranked second in pass DVOA. But they are tied for the 12th most rushing yards allowed per game, and they're giving up 4.5 yards per carry, which is tied for the 7th highest. And something to keep in mind here, the Pats defense has allowed the 3rd most receiving yards and the 7th most receptions to running backs on the year. So like I said, Singletary is still going to be involved as a pass catcher, but I do think Breida is going to be able to get his as well. So if you're desperate, I think he makes sense to look at. And then the other guy on the other side of this matchup is Brandon Bolden. Now, even with Jonathan Taylor just absolutely destroying that Buffalo Bills defense, they have still given up the 3rd fewest half PPR points per game to running backs on the season. So if you're desperate, specifically if you're in a full PPR league, I think Bolden could be a sneaky play if the Patriots are going to look to, stay away from the strength of this Buffalo Bills defense, which is going to be the run defense, especially now with Tre'Davious White hitting IR. So I think with those things in consideration, Brandon Bolden could make some sense as a sneaky start this week. Moving over to wide receivers, going to kick things off with my guy for the brand, that is Tyler Boyd. The Chargers have been really good to outside receivers this year, so I think we could see Tyler Boyd be a little bit more involved. It's not a super high ceiling play. The one thing that does give me a little pause for concern is just how bad the Chargers have been against the run, and we've seen Mixon handle 58 carries over the past 2 games. But I do think the Chargers offense can do more than what Pittsburgh and Las Vegas have done over the past 2 weeks, which might keep the Bengals in a little bit more of a balanced game script and not just rely so heavily on Mixon. And if we look at his matchup in the slot, he's going to see Chris Harris, who he hasn't allowed a ton of production, but he is allowing a 66% completion percentage when targeted in the slot, along with a passer rating of 107.2. So I think Boyd can make some sense. And then moving over to another slot wide receiver, Cole Beasley. Already talked about this game a little bit when I talked about the running backs, but basically the same things that I said about Tyler Boyd, the Chargers can be applied here. Beasley mostly will see Miles Bryant for New England, who really didn't see any significant snaps until week 7. And since that time, he has given up the 12th most yards in the slot and an 84% completion percentage. So again, not someone who's going to have a massive ceiling here, but Beasley worth flex consideration again, particularly in PPR leagues. We have seen him have a handful of double-digit target games this year as well. So I think this could set up to be one of those games again where they're looking to funnel some of those passes into the slot instead of outside. Next one is going to be Josh Reynolds. Yes, it's a little bit gross, but we did see Reynolds have probably one of the bigger plays for this Detroit Lions offense, which, it isn't saying much, But the fact that he was signed off the street just a couple of weeks ago and has been able to have that rapport with Jared Goff, right off the bat, could be an interesting play here. That Thanksgiving game, we did see him have 3 for 70 and a score on 5 targets. The Lions were able to keep that game a lot closer than I think they're going to be able to keep this game against Minnesota. So I think they're going to be forced into more of a pass-heavy game script, and especially with DeAndre Swift looking like he's going to be out. Again, a desperation deep play here. And the last one that Kevin likes for this week is Russell Gage. He has at least 7 targets in 3 of the last 4 weeks, 60 or more receiving yards in 2 of those 4. And if you want to talk about some line movement here, this spread in this game against the Bucs opened up with Tampa Bay being 4.5-point favorites, and that has been bet all the way to 11-point favorites for the Bucs. So the Falcons are going to be staring at a negative game script, which is not great for them, but it is great for us. All right, that is going to wrap things up. Good luck to all of you in Week 13. Hit us with any questions you have in the comments section, or you can take it over to our free Discord community where the TFA fam is always active, asking questions and helping each other out. So hit us with a sub, hit us with a like. If you're on the podcast side of things, please leave us a rate and review. Helps us grow. We really do appreciate all of you, and we'll talk to you soon.